Very, very good evening to you. Welcome to Late Night Talk here on Facebook and also live on YouTube as well. My name is Kofi Bartels, and I have a very big fish, a guest in the building today. I'm sure you'd like to meet her. She's somebody who is not a stranger to people in River State because she has been a very successful journalist in River State for quite some time. And of course, she's my former studio wife before she decided to divorce me, but I'm trying to win her heart back. So all I'll say to her is, Indaboski Bahose. Okay, Maryann, we're here for. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's say welcome to Maryann Okon. Maryann, your camera is shaking. Yeah. Okay. Better than having a wardrobe malfunction. So good evening to Maryann Okon. Welcome to the program. You have to lower you have to lift your camera up a bit above your head. Just a bit up, a bit up, a bit up, a bit up. a bit up. That's fine. That's fine. That's perfect. That's perfect. But I can hear myself on the back. Can you reduce the? Yeah, please. Yes, please. Yeah. Okay. Just lower your volume. Okay. All right. All right. Great. 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 Okay. So can you hear me loud and clear, Maryann? Okay, but I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Oh my. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. All you need to do is maybe to exit and then But anyway, while we're trying to get that sorted out, I want to welcome all of you to the program today. As you saw in the what do they call it again? In the narration, while we're waiting for Maryann to get it sorted together. River State lockdown day one. What do you think about this? River State lockdown day one. How has it been for you? River State lockdown day one. How has it been for you? You can drop your comments in the comment section, and I'll be very glad to read them out. If you'd like to call as well, you can call 080-620-99556, 080-620-99556. Mary, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, great, 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 great. I was going to say in the hosty, but I won't say it. Please don't laugh and talk.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway,
Okay.
Maryann, so congratulations, by the way. For those of you in Lagos State, we were laughing at you. We're laughing at all of you.
Why?
And because you had a lockdown, and we were just saying in River State we're better off because there is no lockdown here. But now it seems that you are better off than us because the tables have turned, and we now have a lockdown. Tables have turned, and we now have a lockdown.
Well, I think we all finally have ended up in the same boat, but I don't think that there's anybody who's better off right now. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right, no problem. You're trying to make us feel good about it. In River State, today is the first day of the lockdown. Of course, it's all in a bid to ensure that coronavirus does not, get out of hand in River State. And the governor of River State has been very, very, very hands-on as far as this is concerned. I'm sure you've seen the pictures, the videos of His Excellency the Governor moving around on the streets of Port Harcourt to ensure that people, do not flout the stay-at-home order, the lockdown order. You have an experience in Lagos State. What was it like for those of you in the nation's commercial capital, Lagos, when you went for a lockdown for, I think, 4 or 5 weeks, if I'm not mistaken? How did it go? Maybe we can learn from you.
Well, I remember the first announcement for the lockdown. A lot of people were, not necessarily taking it seriously because they were wondering, how's that even possible? How do you say people stay at home? What about the people who literally have to work daily to earn a living? Is this even going to work in Lagos? But the first few days were a bit tricky. I'm not going to lie. Where I live, nobody went out. It was so obvious. It was like a ghost town, all the way from Ikoyi, Lagos Island, all the way to Ajah and all of those areas after that, which is no longer Nigeria, like I always say. Everybody seemed to have adhered to the lockdown, but once you go up onto the bridge, third mainland, and then you get to the mainland, it was business as usual.
Wow.
Literally, business as usual.
Really?
I remember, I know this because in the thick of that, the first week I had to take a family member to the hospital, and the hospital is on the mainland. So you have to go through all of those areas to get to the hospital. And I was in shock, utter shock, because I was wondering to myself, are these parts of Lagos or are these parts of another state?
Wow.
But apparently it took a while for some of these people who live in those areas to come to terms with the fact that it was a total lockdown. At the time, it was a total lockdown. No businesses, nobody was going anywhere. We were only given 2 days, I think, to stock up. Now, the problem people had was, how are we supposed to stock up? We don't have money. This is the middle of the month. It's not like, so people had all kinds of excuses for not wanting to stay indoors, and some people didn't even take it to heart because you remember, Kofi, I'm sure you know this, that when we first mentioned COVID-19 in Nigeria, people said, 419, it's not true.
Yeah.
There was still a huge chunk of people. So there was still a huge chunk of people who did not necessarily realize how serious this was, and they just said, "Oh, the government has come up with another, thing to scare us with." So it took a while, but in less than a week, Lagosians had to come to terms with the fact that government was serious because soldiers had to hit the streets, policemen had to come out in their numbers, everybody had to stay at home. It took some whipping.
Wow.
I'm not going to lie. It took, people had to be made to stay at home.
Okay.
Because it was unsafe to be out there. But then the truth is, the only excuse you had to go out was to get food or to go to the hospital, or if you were on essential duty.
Yeah.
Now, if you were on essential duty, you will have to have a pass. Either you show your identity card, which is if you're working for the police, the fire service, you're a medical employee or staff, you work in the media. So if you do not have that card, and then you work maybe in another business area, let's say maybe you work in the oil servicing company, knowing that you have to go to work, or you work with, let's say, so these passes I heard, you could only get from the police stations, or you could get it from government offices allowed that.
Okay, so the government office of the state government in Alausa, that was where you could get this particular pass.
Yes. I never went there to get a pass because I didn't really need one. I have a card as a journalist, so I would just flash my card and say I'm going to work. But
what card? What card was it? Your ID card as a journalist, or what?
Yes, it had to be your ID card as a journalist, and I think that and you could not just go to work in a private car. You had to be your official car, the office vehicle that would come pick you up. So there was a due process to it. Even though a lot of people took advantage of the fact that, I work in essential service, so I could just flash my media card, and people got away with it. But it took a while for Lagos state government to be able to get stricter. They thought that, because Lagos is that somewhat of a metropolitan state, people were going to get the message. But it took a bit for the government. They had to, and the NCDC also had to get job cut out for them. So they had to keep telling people in different languages, this thing is serious, you have to stay in your house, don't let people come and visit you, reduce the visit. So it took a lot. It wasn't something that could happen overnight.
Okay, so I want to get you right. Maryann, you're saying that in Lagos State, number one, the lockdown started and some people, especially on the mainland, did not obey the government and they flouted the lockdown order. They went out.
Yes.
Then number two, those who were on essential services had to go to the police or to the Lagos state government in the office in Alausa to get government permit.
If you did not have your official ID card that could give you that pass, yes, you must get a pass. In fact, I remember one of those days I was going food shopping, and my uncle was driving.
Wait, did you say food shopping?
Yes, you're allowed to go to buy food.
There's
hours in the day.
Oh, really? In Lagos?
So, yes. The markets are open at 10 a.m. from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And once it's 2 p.m., the market shut down.
With the lockdown?
Yes. Because people have to feed. Yes.
Are you serious?
Too many people cannot go to one market. So, there had to be social distancing. And then governments were planning, I hear the government is still planning on doing that, to have, some schools, the schools are shut down. So the schools are supposed to be like makeshift markets. So the traders are spaced out very well. So you go into, it's a plan in progress, but even the market, people had to dress properly to go to the market from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Right after that, 5 minutes to 2, they come and clear out the market. Everybody has to pack up and leave. So it was properly planned.
Wow.
Yes.
The
day I was going food shopping, police officers stopped us and said, "Where are you going? Where's your pass?" And so out of it, the journalist in me came out and I said, "Sorry,
the Port Harcourt journalist in you."
And I said, "What pass are you talking about?" Madam, so you're supposed to get pass. I said, "But I'm a journalist. Here's my card." But where your office day this side? I said, "No, I want to buy food."
Wow.
Okay, you're allowed to buy food and come back. So And even in the food stalls, there's lots of social distancing. You just can't come in your numbers. You either wait in your car or wait on the line, and then you have to space out. It was properly planned somewhat, even though I didn't agree with everything, but they did good.
Okay, so here are some differences, and I need to start writing down. And these are some differences that I've noticed in the lockdown in Lagos State. Because the reason we are talking to you as a journalist doing your great work in Lagos State is that we can also do some comparison and learn from what you're doing in Lagos State. And you are saying that the Lagos State government, yes, indeed, was offering passes out to people, but it was not just the pass that could allow you move. If you had your ID card,
yes, it wasn't.
If you had your ID
you
card,
had to have a good reason.
Okay. So if you had an ID card and you were considered essential services, for instance, if you're a journalist, maybe a medical or health worker, and they see your card, they can allow you move?
Yes, a police officer, fire service, a soldier, you're on duty, yes, you could go out.
Wow. And then you also said that you were allowed to go get food from the restaurant, the fast food.
No, not restaurant.
From where? Market?
Market.
Normal market.
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 Not restaurants. The restaurants were all closed down. You could only order and it would be delivered. And not many of them were open, maybe just a handful. And even those people were scared to open up because they were scared for the delivery men. But, over time, that was eased out, and, that's what you do. So you order your food and the delivery guy comes properly geared, wears his face mask and gloves, and, So
okay.
You were only allowed to go food shopping, not go to a restaurant. No restaurant was open, no eatery was open.
So how did the market thing work? Because, from what we hear, the markets are one of the places where, people can easily contract this thing. In River State, one of the first places the government has locked down is the markets. Mile 1 market, Rumokoro market, oil mill market, and a lot of other markets were the first places that were shut down because they don't want people to go be in a multitude and then they can transmit the disease, the coronavirus, easily. So I'm surprised that in Lagos State, you all, even with the lockdown, markets were open. How?
I said, it was controlled. It was a controlled atmosphere. Lagos is a very massive place, way bigger than Port Harcourt will ever be. But the government knew that if you just allowed the markets to be open, of course, everybody would want an excuse, and then they will all show up at the market because there was panic buying, last minute, a lot of things. But when the government came up with the idea that, okay, so we're going to open the market, but we're going to give you a limited time. So you show up at the market, give yourself some distancing, So it wasn't the massive markets that were open, like Balogo market was not open. So we had like the Jakonde market open, the Ajah market, and the small markets where they could control the crowd. So you go there, you get what you need to get, and then head back. So it wasn't a place to come and meet and hug and, exchange pleasantries. Straight to the point. And you as the person who's going to shop for your food stuff, you have very limited time.
Is it 8 a.m. to 12 noon?
No, 10 a.m. to 2
okay.
p.m.
Oh, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Okay.
And 5 minutes to 2, the market is shut down, literally shut down. So there's no excuse. You start ringing the bells. I was there one time, and I was there at 1 o'clock or 1:30, and at 1:50, at 1:49, they were ringing the bells, and everybody was it was like there was about to be a fire. Everybody was running to make sure that they packed up and left.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Meaning that there was sensitization on the part of government to these market people. So and of course that was done hand in hand or in partnership with the market operators. So they knew that it was time to lock down, pack up, and leave.
Interesting. Didn't some of you or some journalists, some residents of Lagos State question this particular move or directive or strategy because of the fact that, people are not meant to be mingling like that in the markets? Or did the government, apart from the time they put in place, have people to sort of separate those who are selling, or did they have special designated areas like schools or wherever to say, okay, this is where you can go to sell?
Like I said, it was the mini markets that were opened, and then of course the big grocery stores like the Spars and the
Okay.
ShopRite
Okay.
where they could control the crowd.
Okay.
It wasn't just
Okay.
any shop that was
Okay.
open.
Okay. I missed that then. I
So it
missed it
was
then.
controlled.
Mm.
Yes, it was controlled.
Mm.
And I think at every market you would see government or police cars
Mm.
parked there.
Mm.
I guess those people were there to supervise, to make sure that
Oh
people
wow.
come early, come on time and leave. But they didn't in any way try to stop people from buying. They were just watching. Even though I had my apprehensions because I wore my gloves and I wore my
Mm-hmm.
nose mask or my face mask, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people were just doing their business in the market like nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed that maybe unconsciously people just gave you extra space, more like just stay where you are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it took a while, like I said, it took a while for people to realize that this virus was a thing and it was
Mm-hmm.
serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so were people driving to these mini markets and shops and malls, or were they walking?
Well, most people walked, most people would drive. Now, another thing, here's the trick. You couldn't go to a market that was too far away from your home because there were too many roadblocks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they would ask you a question: where are you coming from? Where are you going to?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you as a person wouldn't want to drive through all of those roadblocks. You wouldn't want to leave on the island and go to Balogun Market or Ikorodu Market. You would not want to do that because
Mm-hmm.
even if that's where they sell the nicest momo, you would not want to go there because it's going to be really stressful for you to go through all of those checks. And they made sure that the mini markets around your area were accessible.
Mm.
So you could drive and not drive a distance, or you could just walk across the road to go get. So people were allowed to drive, but very controlled. It was very, very controlled. And once it was 2 p.m., you're not supposed to be seen on the road because the markets are closed
Mm.
and the shops have also closed.
Mm-hmm.
The pharmacies were the only ones that were allowed to be open till 4 p.m. because you can't control who's falling ill, who has a cold, who has a fever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the pharmacies were open at 10 a.m. and then they closed at 4 p.m. Yeah.
Okay, so pharmacies open at 10 a.m. and close at 4 p.m. Okay, that's some
Yeah.
good info right there. Uh, so you've given us some great info, and if you're watching right now, Maryann Okon, seasoned journalist, international journalist, award-winning journalist with News Central TV, formerly of Nigeria Info FM, is my guest this evening, and we're looking at the Lagos experience as far as lockdown they had for, was it 5 weeks, is concerned. We have experienced
The lockdown is still on, by the way. It's partial.
yeah, partial lockdown. Okay, so but in River State we just started our own lockdown, and we can probably borrow learn a thing or two from the Lagos experience to also help us through our own experience. If you'd like to, share your thoughts, you can just drop it in the comment section on YouTube and Facebook, or call me right now 080-620-99556. The number to call is 080-620-99556. I'll put it up again, 080-620-99556. If you're having any issue with the stream, you can also just type it so we know the issues there. Maryann, your fans are already popping up on the in the comment section. I can see your labels there. Okay, Chris Unity says I've been down since morning. I can't get drugs because of the lockdown. Duke Praise says the thing tire me. I just hope we achieve something with all this because the hunger only God can help. My oh my. Okay. We have another message here from Okachi Ogechi, who says, I can't go out to buy matchstick. She can't go out to buy a matchstick. Can you imagine that, Maryann? Timothy Paul Omojesu.
You can get that from the aboki that sells just right around the corner. Those guys are not shut down, are they?
We'll come to that because I'll let you know. I'll share some info with you so that you can tell me what you think about it. Okay. We have Timothy Paul Omojesu, who says good evening to you. Timothy, thank you for your time. John Best Uche, good evening to you and all who's on with us. Okay, Sharon also says good evening. We are praying that God Almighty will turn things around for good. People are suffering. Hello. Okay, Loretta Otonye, he says, hello, Kofi and Maryann. We miss you over here, Maryann. Your fans have come in, Maryann. They have come in. Okay. Ruth Dumo says, good evening. Thank you. I'll put up the story that I told you I'll tell. So please, you can how would I put it now? You can read it and then tell me what you think about it. Ayebaye Daniel Wanatoy says, happy birthday, Kofi. Thank you very much. Are we having any issues with the live stream? Somebody's trying to flash me. I don't know. Okay, we're on. We're on. So thank you very much, Aibaye. It says on the lockdown, we have a terrible voting culture, and we are seeing the fallout. Okay, now politicians have come in, in on this conversation. I've been in the lockdown since Rule Mercy. Okay, Maryann, they locked down some parts of Port Harcourt before now. Rule Mercy being one of them. Stadium Road, Rule Mercy, Elekahia, I think Unwaja area, Rum Kalabo. They locked those places down. So if you're staying there, then Mile 3 to Mile 1, all the way to under the flyover, they locked those places down. So all those Equatorial Road, you can't use that place at all. And now this has come. So they've been there for almost 2 weeks. It says the governor sees children when he looks at Rivers people, and that is terrible. We have a virus, and this is the flu season. We are in for a rough time. All Wike wants to do is to shut down people. I'm not against lockdown, but it must be part of a plan well known. Unfortunately, he says, I don't know of any plan for this war, and Wike is taking us through mental torture, and his praise singers clap because it is from their God. This is Nigeria hashtag. He says, please give my earpiece. Okay, thank you very much. B.A. Briggs, medical doctor, public health physician, thank you for your time. B.A. says, like the governor said, the compliance was about 95%, but I'm seeing a lack of synergy between the Rivers State government and the Nigeria Police Force. I heard the DCP gave a letter of exemption to certain companies and VIPs, contrary to government's directive. We'll come to that, and subsequently releasing all those arrested by the governor. For me, that's a disrespect to the office and the person of the governor of Rivers State. Yes, Wike is the governor of Rivers State, and the CSO as a chief security officer of the state, and as such deserves all the respect that is due to his office. Okay, is that secondly, some security agencies act irresponsibly. I had a pregnant woman in labor, wasn't allowed access to the hospital, which led to the death of the baby. Yeah, I put that story up. This broke me today. I felt very bad. Even if the governor directed that nobody should go out, the security agents are duty bound as human beings to let pregnant women get to the hospital. The governor saw a pregnant woman today and let her go on compassionate grounds. I call on security agencies to be more responsible and synergize with the government of Rivers State. Okay, so Maryann, what do you think about this particular incident? B.A. Briggs as racist, so let's just go there. This is a story. I don't know if you saw my tweet, but let me just go over the story.
Yeah, I did see it.
A husband and wife were going to the hospital. I know them personally. We go to the same church. So I woke up in the morning because I slept really late. And we have some calls coming through. I think we'll put them on very soon. Please call. Keep a call coming through. 08062099556. I went to my phone in the morning. I saw a call and I returned the call. Lo and behold, it was my friend from church, Uche. I said, Uche, what's up? He says he tried to sound brave, but I could hear the crackling in his voice. He said that I was at a police checkpoint when I called you, Maryann. He said it, and I wanted your help, but we were released to go. I said, okay, what's up? He said my wife was pregnant, so we took her to the hospital. I said, oh, I'm sorry I could not pick a call at the time. I slept late and woke up late. So he said no problem. That they released them and they let them go. That they got to the hospital and doctors could not save the baby. And that's when they were at the checkpoint. He thought, oh, I'm driving a pregnant woman who is in pain to the hospital. And there is no way, absolutely no way, that the police will see this woman here in labor and will not allow us pass. So he was confident. Mm-hmm. Only for him to get to the point, it kept them there for some time, and only God knows. And I think if the husband wants to be, honest, he says he's a Christian and doesn't want to take this. But if he wants to be honest, I'm sure he will admit that affected the situation. They said to him, and I quote, "If you like, die here." That's what the policeman said to him. If you like, die here. Say, governor, don't talk. Say, if you no get permit from government house, you no go feel waka for Port Harcourt. So this one way they talk, if you like, die here. After a while, the man said he noticed that there was a senior policeman, sitting in the car or somewhere. And he approached him and begged him, say, oh, God, please. So the senior policeman now came and told the police officers there, use your discretion and allow him go. That's how they were released, and they got to the hospital, and the rest is history. So I mean, what do you think about that story?
I first of all want to say that I sympathize with the family of, the most important, if not one of the most joyous moments in any family's life is when a baby is born. But of course, it could also turn into a dark moment when, the baby's lost in the process, and all because somebody was insensitive. Now, I just like to let everybody who's watching know that all over the world, emergency services are allowed even when the country is on total lockdown, i.e. for the UK, i.e. for Spain, for Italy, emergency services were allowed. And of course, if you were an emergency service, there were people who were outside waiting. They would be notified when an ambulance is heading in your hospital's direction, so that the people who are dressed and ready to receive a patient, because any patient can be patient zero, carrying a virus, whether the person is sick or not. So I'm trying to understand if the police were trying to be overzealous because it's day one. Of course, everybody was overzealous, even in Lagos. I'm not going to lie. Like I said, I was taking a sick family member to the hospital, and the policeman was harassing us because he said, and he said something similar to that. He said, "I don't care if you're coming from the hospital." And so he demanded to see our hospital papers. Thank goodness we had the hospital papers, and then we showed the hospital papers, and he said, "Okay, well, but you're driving too fast." So they always have to look for something to say, which is incredibly disgusting, but they probably are overzealous. I'll tell you what, a friend of mine called me from France today. She's French, and she said her friend's husband had a domestic accident, and which affected his bone, kind of ruptured his knee bone or tendon, and he was rushed to the hospital. Guess what? The hospital turned him down. They turned him around and said, "You cannot come in because we are full and we have too many COVID-19 patients." Now that's a totally different. So, there's no perfect situation right now anywhere in the world. You're going to have these kind of hiccups. But can we try as much as possible to reduce these hiccups so that they don't become a thing at the detriment of the average Nigerian or Port Harcourt person? So as much as I would want to sympathize with that family, I think that the police chief needs to do something about how the overzealousness of their officials. Yes, they're doing their jobs, but they have to do it with discretion and do it within the ambit of the law and not be insensitive.
In Lagos State, you said not everybody needed that permit from the governor's office in Alausa. I think.
Because the moment you have it, then you're going to have a chaos, because somebody would know somebody who knows somebody who works in government house or in the police station. So it's like trying to get a gun license in Nigeria, which is almost something you can never get. So that's how it is. You have to really have a good reason, and you have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that you need that pass for you to be able to get it. So it has to be very important. Like I said, if you were me, or you were a police officer, or you were, let's say, a guy that works in an oil rig which has to go to work, or the guy that works in a power plant, you have your pass. Your pass is your ID card, and you're certain. And you can't just be strolling alone going to your office, because there's no transportation on the road. So you have to, the office vehicle has to pick you up. So that is the excuse for that. But the rest of them, they have to really have a good reason. Or for those who have to go to the hospital, either you're visibly very sick and dying and you need emergency care, or you have a doctor's appointment and maybe you're terminally ill. You have to show your doctor's papers. That's basically, so there's a process to it. It's not just anybody that has a pass, then you can go away or go to that bread place that we all love, Market Square, buy bread. No.
So would you blame the police? Because we're not playing the blame game, but some people are saying, especially on Twitter, that is more on the side of the policeman or police formation, the units there. They should have used their discretion to ensure that the people would have passed. Initially, I'm sure there were initially people were going out. For instance, I spoke to Chioma Ezenwafo of Nigeria Info, who said that, yes, they went to work, they were moving about that. Since the governor issued a statement based on what happened with the DCP. And Maryann, let me just read, for those who maybe have not heard that story, let's just read a bit of it so that you understand. It was after the governor's statement, it became a bit difficult for those who are on essential services to move. And Chima is the one who is with Nigerian was telling me she wasn't sure if she would be allowed, any journalist could move, because the governor said nobody. Now, there's a DCP. Let me just go through the statement. This is sent by Maryann Okon, who is the governor's spokesman, special assistant on electronic media. It says, Governor Wike monitors lockdown, commends Rivers people for compliance. And of course, Governor was monitoring the lockdowns. You can see pictures on the screen. There's one of a pregnant woman and another. It goes on to say, the Rivers State Governor, Maryann Okon, has commended Rivers people for complying with the lockdown declared by the state government to check the spread of coronavirus. In an interview after monitoring the level of compliance on Thursday, the governor said that the level of compliance was up to 95%, Maryann. He ever regretted that the Deputy Commissioner of Police, and this is what I'm driving at, the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Rivers State Police Command, DCP Adamu Abubakar, moved to sabotage the lockdown by issuing illegal letters to companies. And this is where His Excellency, the governor, has some problems, Maryann, issuing illegal letters to some companies. It goes on to say, quote the governor, saying, quote, "It is unfortunate to see the level of sabotage that we get from the police, particularly the Deputy Commissioner of Police Operations, River State Police Command. The Deputy Commissioner of Police will sign approvals for companies because he wants to collect money. I'm the governor of this state, and there cannot be two governors." And he went on to say the approvals issued by the police or any other authorities outside the office of the River State Governor are illegal. And he says, the deputy governor, now this is the governor speaking, the Deputy Commissioner of Police has no powers to issue. Let me just skip that and go to the gist. Okay, so it says nobody can move around without the permit from the governor's office. So that's the backstory, that he found that some people were moving around with a permit were issued and signed by the DCP Operations, the River State Police Command. So that is what led to the governor saying, if you don't have a permit from the governor, you cannot move around.
I'm trying as much as possible to be very objective here. In situations like this, because it's not something that is man-made and all of us are susceptible to catching this virus, I do not see the reason why this issue should be politicized in any way. I got a call this morning about a show on radio this morning, and people were politicizing the fact that we have this virus, and they were talking from party lines, which I found very sickening.
Okay.
It's very sickening, and Rivers people need to desist from this. This disease doesn't know political party. It doesn't know your tribe. It doesn't even care. Now, I think that the governor and the commissioner of police, who is Abuja's representative of policing in Rivers State, who's supposed to be working with the governor of a state, who is the chief security officer, whether on paper or not, they're supposed to work in tandem. Now, a governor cannot give a directive and a commissioner of police decides to do his own thing. That is really wrong. And I do not understand why certain people think that they should be privileged to drive around town. I'm wondering what they're going to look for. At the expense of what? At the expense of who?
Okay.
Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Several, I'm not going to call names, but a certain high party chieftain in Lagos has lost at least 3 of his aides to COVID-19. So what makes that person who thinks that the commissioner gave him a pass free of COVID-19? We need to rise above some things. Okay. And this is all I'm going to say about this issue.
Maryann, so you've said His Excellency the Governor of Rivers State, Maryann Okon, is the Governor of Rivers State. The police, yes, they're representing, they're doing their work. The police is a federal agency, security agency. Do you see, or do you think that maybe His Excellency would have also thought it through, maybe had a strategy discussion with his team to see, okay, what can we do to make sure that people do not go around like that with police pass and police permit? Because the collateral damage is
I'm
what
sorry. The question. No. I'm sorry. Why should the police have its own rules? Why should they even have passes to give to whoever they like in a state that is on lockdown?
Yeah,
Don't forget,
I'm not disputing
in
that.
Lagos State,
I'm not disputing
in
that,
Lagos
Maryann.
State, that pass that the police is giving is authorized by the Lagos State government, not the
Oh, so the police,
Commissioner of Police in Lagos.
the police are giving a pass in Lagos State.
You don't get the pass that you. That
I
you
heard
go
you.
to a
I'm just
police
trying to be
station
sure.
obtain.
Yeah. Oh, you go
The
to
pass that
you go to a
police-
police station to obtain a pass in Lagos State.
Yes, and those passes are actually authorized by the Lagos State government. It's not a police business, because that's how it's sounding in River State, that the governor said, we shall do our own. They don't understand that even those guys that they're giving the passes might have some exposure, which might come back to the police. So
Okay.
it's a deadly cycle.
I understand where you're coming from, and trust me, I understand. Now, this lockdown is a state-issued lockdown. The governor of River State issued the lockdown, and of course, they have every right to determine how it runs, how it operates. It's not a federal lockdown, and of course, it's River State in a federal entity called Nigeria. I'm saying that if I'm asking basically if the governor noticed that the DCP went out of his out of line to do what he did, issue permits to people who were not authorized to move around. Now we've seen that he says nobody move except it's a permit issued by Government House. I'm saying looking at the collateral result or damage or effect, one person has lost a baby. That is just one story we're hearing. Is that the way to go about it?
Again, I don't want this to sound like
it's a simple question, Maryann. It's a simple question. Don't tell me you've lost some fire. You've lost some fire after Port Harcourt.
I'm sorry. I'm being a journalist and I'm being an analyst, but I want to lay the background because
I know.
The people who are listening to us, not all of them are smart enough to understand what I'm going to say next. So I need to.
It was a simple question. I'm not asking you to.
Hold on. I'm coming. Just hold on.
Go on.
There is no government decision that is being taken. There is something that is called a Cobra meeting in the UK, where the Prime Minister meets with security chiefs.
And Boris Johnson did not attend, missed about 6 of them.
Hold on. It's the same thing. When I worked in Government House in Calabar, every Wednesday, when they had a Federal Executive Council, before that council meeting, there was a Security Council meeting. A governor would not come out and put out a statement without having a strategic meeting with security officials, health officials. They might disagree on some things, but the police can't come out to tell me that they were not duly informed.
So I'm saying, Maryann, the question I'm asking is this:
are you asking me maybe that should the governor go back and tell the police that I'm sorry that we're giving out the passes alone.
No, what I'm saying is this whole idea of nobody move, based on the action of this DCP, looking at the collateral effect.
I get it.
Is that the right? Is that the possible and present collateral effect? Is that a way to go about it?
This is where I'm going to fault the government. For every time something has happened in a place, you're supposed to borrow a leaf from them, e.g. Lagos. We're not perfect, but there should have been. I mean, you're telling people to shut down and lock down. Mm-hmm. People need food and water to survive. People need drugs, medical supplies to survive. Those things should have been part of Governor Wike's plans, instead of just saying, sit at home. And how long are we sitting at home? Could it be that I have just one cup of Gary, and if I sip it tonight, that's all? Are we going to die after that? Are we going to die of starvation? What are the palliatives that are in place? Has there been? I'm not in River State, so I don't know if there is any plan. Have you seen any warehouse that government has labeled items that they're going to give house to house? I don't know that.
That's warehouse for what?
They're not. For palliatives.
Okay, yes,
water,
they have.
And all of that.
There is a food and something for palliatives. Where you have the former PDP campaign office opposite Bori Camp. That's where they've been receiving donations.
And who is entitled to it?
they've been going from local government to give to, they say, the poor people, those who don't have. But I'm sure they have.
Exactly.
But they've been doing a good work.
So I might not necessarily be poor, Kofi, but I don't have so much food in my house. And I eat all that I have in my house, and all I'm left with is water. How do I get more food? Because I don't need government palliatives. How do I feed? These are the things that government needs to take into consideration. This is where I fault the River State government. And like I said, borrow a leaf from states like Lagos. Borrow a leaf from Abuja, even though Abuja, but borrow a leaf from these states. How did they make it through? We stayed home for 1 month and we survived it because there was a plan.
So, what can, I know you've told us what the situation and experience in Lagos State was like. What can specifically can the River State, looking at this situation now, what specific things can the River State government borrow and implement from the Lagos experience?
Okay, so I've seen so many videos of the governor going around, trying to arrest people, which is an amazing thing. He's, like I said earlier on before we started this show, Rivers people and Lagos people are totally different. Yes, we have people who are headstrong, but you see, a Governor Wike is good for Rivers people in a sense, because there are people who are very stubborn that will still go out and say, I did not know there's lockdown. Lockdown this year, so yes, that strategy is good, but I think the governor needs to every day address the people instead of nagging about what's not happening. Can you give us day-to-day information on how we can make this lockdown better and more convenient for us? Or number one, can you have a makeshift market where people can go in twos or in threes, shop and leave? We take turns, even if you have to take tiny papers to say you're number one, you're number two. That way it's done in an orderly fashion. Lagos has been able to perfect that by opening smaller markets so they can control the crowd. Also, big grocery stores only sell food to people who are coming. So you go there, pick food items, pass them at the counter, pay, and go home. And it's done in an orderly manner. If the governor can make these allowances, people would not necessarily die of hunger. Because even if there was a mass hysteria to rush and buy food 2 days or 1 day before the lockdown, that food will not last you. I'll tell you what, Kofi. The way you eat when you go out to work and come back is totally different when you eat at home all day. Every time you pass by the fridge, you want to eat something. You pass by the stove, you want to boil water. So people need.
Tell me about it.
People need food.
Yes.
I've been home for 2 months. Trust me. So it's crazy.
Okay, we have a call on the line. I'd like to know who this is. I hope that this is coming through. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. My name is Dr. B.A. Briggs, and I've been following your program this evening, and I want to say hello to Maryann Okon. We have missed you here in Port Harcourt.
Hi, how are you, Dr. Briggs?
Hello,
Okay.
are we there?
Yes, go on. She's asking how you are, and go on, Dr. Briggs. He can't hear, but you can hear him, Maryann. Go on, please, Dr. Briggs.
Okay, I want to relate the line of Maryann Okon. For Christ's sake, before the governor took the decisions he announced on Monday, he first of all held a security council meeting where all the security agencies were represented, the Nigerian Police Force, the state civil defense, the Navy, the Army, they were all there. The state security services and all that, they were all there. And I want to believe they had an input in the decision to lock down Port Harcourt. And so they would have also given out orders to their respective formations to comply with the governor's directives. Now, let me say this first. I may not 100% agree with the pattern and the process of implementation of the lockdown, okay? But when a directive has been given by a state government, for Christ's sake, it must be adhered to by all and sundry, especially the security agencies. So the DCP has no authority whatsoever to of himself issue letters granting people waivers to move when there is a total lockdown. For Christ's sake, it's not done. And the governor has given a caveat that if for any reason you need to go out as a company or a company worker, you need to have a permit from the office of the governor, and that should be done. And for him to issue such a letter is clear-cut disregard and disrespect to the office and the person of the governor, and I do not accept that at all. And then secondly, the governor, those that were arrested were sent to the isolation center. For me, I think it is wrong. You don't solve a problem while trying to you don't create a problem while trying to solve another. The isolation centers we are going to understand where the some of the confirmed cases are being treated and all that. Putting them down, we saw pictures of those that were arrested. And no social distancing and all that. They were just clustered in a place. And what if one of them had coronavirus? They would have successfully spread it across. And then in a lockdown like this, we need to give people some level of concession. Like this woman that was in labor. For Christ's sake, even if the governor had given such a directive that nobody should move, you as a security agent, seeing a woman in labor, are you telling me that if you let her pass and the governor sees you, he will deal with you, or this commissioner of police, he will have
it's common sense, exactly.
Being that is about to bring another life to this world pass? I mean, for Christ's sake, these are natural things that you should just use your own discretion and humanity. First and foremost is humanity. We're all human beings. There are certain things that you do that it doesn't just appeal to common sense at all. And when you share that story on Facebook, when I saw it, I was so depressed. And then on lockdown as we are now, people are still sick. On normal days like this, as a doctor, I have emergencies. Diabetic emergencies, hypertensive emergencies, asthmatic emergencies, and these people are still sick of these diseases in their houses. What if they have such emergencies? How do they go about? There is no public transport. What if they don't have cars? Okay? I mean, the governor would have just allowed the pharmacies, the chemists, hospitals to open and, allow people to have access to these things. And like I want to also, when Maryann Okon was talking about the Lagos experience, she told us that in Lagos, there were makeshift markets that were everywhere, close to neighborhoods, so that you can easily have access to those markets and get what you want and go back to your house. This is what we look forward to seeing. If the markets were very close, like in Lagos, primary schools and secondary schools were used as market points, and people were kept there to ensure that social distance is maintained, people put on their masks, people wash their hands, people apply their hand sanitizers, and it was controlled, and it was very successful. So I would have seen enough to see a situation where such a thing is replicated in Rivers State, but we're not seeing that. But for going forward, I want to advise the government and the agencies of government to please look for a way to accommodate these issues and put into cognizance that people still fall ill. People will need essential supplies. People will need food. People will need water. People will need medications. And they must have access to, a doctor was talking today on Nigerian Info when he was being interviewed. And he said that, there are, for instance, HIV patients that need to go renew their drugs, those that are hypertensive and diabetic that need to go see their doctors to update their medications and do one or two investigations in the hospital. They don't have access to go. Okay? And what about the doctors that are working on essential duties? When they are the fuel, those of them that drive, when their fuel runs dry, how do they go to the filling stations to have their cars refueled so that they can go to work? So these are the kind of issues that must be looked at. I understand that the governor decided to do everything within his powers to ensure that he keeps Rivers people safe, but he should also look at it holistically and to ensure that the purpose for which this lockdown is given is also achieved at the end.
Okay, so Mary Briggs, I think you're also going along with Maryann here by saying that you feel it was really wrong for the DCP to on his own issue permits.
Absolutely.
In a state
He's
order.
wrong.
But you're saying that at the initial Security Council meeting that the Rivers State Governor had said he and only he was to issue permits, because I only heard that after the governor spoke today.
Yes, I also heard it for the first time.
Yeah. So are you sure that this was said during the Security Council meeting before then?
First and foremost, I think you would have, like I said, the security agencies were there, they were represented. Probably the DCP was not there, but I want to believe the Commissioner of Police was there, representing the Nigerian Police Force, and he would have properly briefed his men on the outcome of the meeting. So he hadn't any reason whatsoever. If it was the Commissioner of Police that was doing this, I would have been saying, maybe he had the thought of the governor to do that. But the Commissioner of Police wasn't the one issuing these letters. In any case, the governor has given a directive. It must be complied, whether you like it or not. This is a security officer. These are the reasons why governors are calling for state police. If the state police was there now, they would be taking directives from the governor.
Okay, that being said, Dr. Briggs, that being said,
the IG gives an order to the Commissioner of Police. The Commissioner of Police will do what the IG has said.
Okay.
And he will not
So
do what
Dr.
the
Briggs,
governor
because
wants
of
him to.
time,
Yes.
that being said, you're also saying that the governor should also have maybe thought through what his decision, so that people don't suffer.
Yes.
Because I mean, you are a health worker, and you and I
Yes.
know that not every health worker can go in now that after a lockdown has been declared, go and start asking for permit from governor's office when they're in lockdown. How would they now start getting the permits? And
Those
and,
are the issues.
and these are
They'll start being-
things that would have been thought about before now.
Exactly.
If we were
Exactly.
thinking, if we were being strategic, if we are planning, these are things that would have been thought about now, and people will not be losing their children. We know police. We know how then they do. We know how then they act. Now their way. But leaders are put there to think, and when they can't do it all by themselves, they have people who are placed there, who are paid with taxpayers' money to help them think. To help
I
them
agree
think.
with you, absolutely.
In the United States of America, Donald Trump is not the only person thinking and coming up with strategies about the coronavirus in America.
Please, let's not go there.
I'm coming.
Please.
I'm
America
coming.
is too far.
I'm
No.
coming.
America is too far. I'm sorry.
coming.
No.
In the UK,
There is no
Mariann,
yardstick whatsoever. You
In
have
the U-
nothing that
in the
America
UK,
has. I'm
Boris
sorry.
Johnson.
Nigeria is
Okay,
way down there.
I'm coming. Boris Johnson in the United States of America, so in UK, was in the hospital for 3 weeks, and UK didn't stop running. Mariann, you know this, because they have a system and they have advisors. So if today, His Excellency the Governor of Rivers State, with due respect to him, is saying that if you want a permit, go and get from Government House in a lockdown. Mr. Governor, how are people going to leave their houses to go get permit from you? The lady who lost her baby, yes, the policeman should have used his head. But the policeman, he didn't use his head. And he said with his mouth, Governor say, if you don't get Government House permit, make you no move. And they kept them there. And it took somebody who had small sense to say, oh, use your discretion. Allow them go. And you're telling me he's a policeman. He can't think for himself that way. That's who they are.
Okay, see,
Well, the police is trained to follow
Dr.
the
Briggs,
last order.
Please hold on, Dr. Briggs. Mariann wants to just say something about this if I come back to you.
Well,
Okay.
well,
Okay.
the little I know about the police, and I've worked with them for at least 4 years,
Yeah.
you follow every order to the later until it is changed. So a police officer has no right whatsoever to change plans. I mean, it's even simple.
Yeah.
This America that we all like to compare ourselves with. In America, a police officer sees a woman in labor, they will use their police vehicle and turn on the sirens, take the woman to the hospital. So I get very angry when you try to compare, or anybody tries to compare Nigeria to America. Let's go to Ghana that is nearby. Or Rwanda. Look at Rwanda.
Mariann, please hold on.
This
Please
is a
hold on.
country that
Please
is
hold on,
coming
Mariann.
from
Dr. Briggs, can you hear her?
genocide.
Can you hear her now? Okay, Mariann, can you hear Dr. Briggs?
I can't hear Dr. Briggs.
Okay,
I can't
okay.
hear him. But
Dr.
I heard him
Briggs.
at first when he was talking.
Yeah. Dr. Briggs, can you hear Mariann now? Okay. Mariann, please go on.
So what I'm saying is, in Nigeria, when we compare ourselves to America, it hurts me because we're nowhere close to what America is doing right now. So let's compare ourselves to people that we're almost close to. And we keep saying we're the big brother of this continent. Look at Rwanda, a country that came from genocide. Look at the things that they're doing. And you would hope, I mean, their first easing of the lockdown, people are doing things the right way. They're lining up to get into buses at least 6 meters away from one another, washing their hands before they get into the buses, wearing their gloves and wearing. In Nigeria here, the first day in Lagos, the first day we eased the lockdown, it was total madness. Absolute madness. So I'm sorry, I'm not in any way saying that I'm excusing the government for their lack of strategic thinking, but I'm also saying that we all have a role to play, including the police officers. We all need common sense, even though it's not common.
Okay, Dr. Briggs, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, Mariann, can you hear Dr. Briggs?
Yes, I can hear him.
Hello, Mariann, can you hear Dr. Briggs?
Yes, I can hear him.
Hello, Mariann?
I can hear Dr. Briggs. Yes.
I think we'll have to let you go because... hello, Mariann, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hello, Mariann?
Yep, I am here.
Okay. So, Dr. Briggs, final words from you before you go.
I think that with what has happened today, the governor needs to go back to the drawing board and review, because he monitored the lockdown today. He has seen the level of compliance. It means that the River State people are in support of what he is doing, but he needs to, fine-tune it so that, the effect of the lockdown will not negatively affect the health and well-being of River State in the end, so that we are trying to solve one problem, we don't create the other. So what he has seen on ground today, he needs to go to the drawing table and make some modifications with respect to the suggestions we have just given. I think if he does that, going forward, it will be better. And the security agencies, they need to, keep reorientating their men on how to deal with, sanely and responsibly with civilians, because that's the ultimate reason why security agencies are being established, for the protection of life and property. So anything that they do that does not meet that goal of saving lives and properties is against the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Okay.
Thank you, Kofi,
Dr. Maryann Briggs is a public health physician, a regular guest on Late Night Talk. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Dr. BA, for calling us. We appreciate it. You made some interesting points.
Yeah, we should totally do this again, Maryann. I mean, it reminds me of Morning Cross for a back day. But let's read some more comments, interesting comments coming in here. Ella Confidence says, your governor really needs prayers. Other states are enjoying, and we're still in lockdown. Well, lockdown is not necessarily a bad thing if it's meant for good purposes to fight, the coronavirus. Maryann, you may need to just bring your camera slightly down a bit nearer. Okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. So another message here.
Is that better?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. Thank you very much. Another message here says, it's from Afam Patrick. I support Maryann. Are you seeing the comments there?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I am looking at it right now.
Would you like to read one or two?
Okay, well, I see one from Harry, and he says, all what the governor is.
Okay, and the network decides to play a fast one on us. Oh my. Are you there, Maryann? Okay, the network is playing a fast one. Anyway, please hold on, because you're lagging. Are you there, Maryann?
I'm wondering why. I am here.
Okay, go on then. Go on.
Okay, so there's another message here from Amakri Danagogo. He said, I was disappointed when I heard the governor say he will personally issue movement permits. Too sad of a governor in a civilized society like ours, he says.
Okay, interesting. Man, people are... sorry about the lagging and the network and all that.
Yeah, that's fine. I guess this is what we have to deal with every time in Nigeria.
Yeah. The networks are really making some good money, though, because people are looking for, fast data to entertain themselves, and all that. Okay, Afam Patrick, thank you for your message. Says, I support the lockdown because Rivers State is a target of this virus, just like Lagos. Indeed. So you can see some people are in support of this lockdown. John Bright says, lockdown things on point. Eugene Abel says, Maryann, it says Maryann. Juliet Alex Mecha says, good evening. I like and support the lockdown. My prayers for God to protect Rivers State. So you can see that some people are really, and Maryann actually went the first time, and I think till now, a lot of Rivers people support His Excellency the Governor as far as the lockdown is concerned. They do, and they feel that it is for the good.
The lockdown is very necessary.
But the thing is
very necessary for every state that has as many people as Rivers State, Lagos, Abuja, Ogun. Yes, it's necessary, but how you go about it is very important. And that's what I have been emphasizing while they're in lockdown, because they don't have access to go get food. They're not able to get drugs. People who are supposed to go to hospitals can't move. These things have to be clearly thought out before you even start off to say, well, speak. Can they call? I mean, we don't even have a helpline that we can call and say somebody's sick, is dying, so the hospital can send an ambulance. We don't have that.
Okay.
So because we don't have that, then you need to plug those loopholes by creating other measures. I mean, I don't know if I'm making myself clear though.
Okay, all right. So a lot of people support the lockdown, but I think for most people the issue is this movement or this order that all markets shut down, all shops shut down. Maryann, listen to this. If any market is found open or any shop is found open, the River State government will demolish the entire building. Why are you looking at me like that? They will demolish the entire.
I mean,
the entire
sorry,
building.
this is the government. This is from the government.
Yes. They will demolish the entire building. So markets can't open. Nobody. So people are saying, okay.
I think the governor is just calling the bluff of people who are hard-headed, who probably would always want to defy whatever decree or whatever thing that the governor is asking people not to do. He's probably doing that to send fear through the spines of these people. But I don't think that the government will want to, break down any market. But they're trying to say, don't try us. Basically, that's what it is.
But I mean, words are
the bluff of the people.
Words are important. Words are powerful. He gave a speech, gave a statewide broadcast, and said on Thursday.
We also live in Nigeria where we say a lot of things.
Maryann, you can't take the words. You can't take the words that His Excellency the Governor said out of his mouth and put new ones there. Please. He says every building that has a shop that is open, a market, will be brought down. Today he says any car that we should get ready to buy cars. They're going to auction the cars that they've confiscated. Yeah. That they'll be advertised.
I heard that. My mother actually said that to me.
You see, so people are concerned about how do we go out to get fuel. People are indoors. Are we expecting people to stay indoors till further notice, like he said, without fuel? So when the fuel finishes, where would they get fuel to buy? To power the generators, because we don't have light, so that they can have fun to blow them at night. They can have fuel light to power their fridge, and then the fridge can preserve the food, because they can't go to market. They can't go out. You understand?
I'll tell you what, Kofi, in Lagos, the first few days, celebrities had to hit social media to complain about light. I'm sure you saw some of those videos.
Yeah.
They're complaining that, how are you telling us to stock up, but then there's no light to preserve those things that we're stocking up. Mm-hmm. And, sometimes the government doesn't necessarily know everything, like you said. That's why they have advices. But even those advices are not computers, neither are they aliens. They might not catch everything at once. And so they test some of these ideas they have on us, and then we, the people, they bounce them off us, and then we come up and say, no, we need free light, or we need constant light. At least if we cannot give us free light, give us constant light. So that's how the Lagos state and the federal government were able to better the lot of the people in Lagos and Abuja and Ogun State while we were under lockdown. They didn't get everything right at first, and that's what I'm saying. Maybe we should cut Governor Wike some slack, but then again, we should be able to voice out. For example, people like to hear the sound of their voice. So please call radio stations. Please talk on social media. Tag the governor. Tell him what you need and how he can help you better enjoy this lockdown and stay safe. It is our duty to also tell this government, whoever they are, what we need as a people, because they don't live in our houses. They don't live our lives, so they might not necessarily understand that a blanket statement or strategy might not necessarily work for us all. Now, look at the children who have to be at home and have to be homeschooled. Not every child has a parent that has internet and that they can have e-learning. Some parents are not even smart enough to homeschool their kids. So what happens to the little child in the creek? What happens to the children who live in the rural areas? They need to go to school, and that's all they know. Okay. What if their parents are not able to teach them? So these are things that need to be incorporated into the whole strategy.
Thank God you use the word strategy, and then you need to ask if there is a strategy. But I won't comment on that. Mm-hmm. So now when people jump on social media...
It's an ongoing thing. So every day they keep learning as they go.
So when people jump on social media and say, oh, Your Excellency, like I did today, this is what happened, I think you should reconsider. And then number one, supporters of the government start saying, hey, you're just trying to paint the government black because you work for social media house. Or Number two, the government doesn't do anything to change that strategy, and then they just keep it on. What do you do?
I don't want to believe that Governor Wike will not do anything if Rivers people cry out to him. I don't want to believe that he is insensitive to the plight of the people. It is not done anywhere in the world. You put a lockdown, you have to make sure that the people survive. Because when people, the death toll begins to rise, and people are dying of either hunger or they're dying because there was no ambulance to take them to the hospital, it's gonna look bad on the governor, and I don't think he's looking for that right now. He wants to look good. And I guess that's the reason why he's wearing a mask and gloves and walking around the streets of Port Harcourt. So I don't want to believe that Governor Wike will be that insensitive if people come up with great ideas as to how this lockdown can be better for everyone who lives in Port Harcourt.
Okay.
And with the state.
All right. Okay. Before we're done, this one is sent in by Raymond Michael and Jacka, who says Wike locked both big and small stores. He has also shut down chemists and pharmacy. He knows he won't survive what he's doing to us. I don't know what I mean by that. Acho Modu has refused to be left out today. He's here. He says COVID-19 has no doubt exposed our inhumanity against fellow humans. By that I mean to say that all the wanton looting of the people's resources by past and present leaders has come to catch up with us. Let me state without equivocation that it is nauseating to hear the governor of Rivers State complaining that the federal government has refused to set up testing centers. This, to me, he says, is first-class leadership failure. My heart goes out to the family who lost a baby due to the governor's stiff directive on movement of people during the lockdown period. At least a pregnant woman should have been excluded, or pregnant women should have been excluded in the restriction directive. Again, it is what it is, leadership failure. The government should have a rethink at Chomodo Esquire. All right. Thank you for your time. We have a call coming through. Let's see who this is. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. It's Bartels.
Yes, who is this, please?
And it's Maryann Okon. Victor Homley.
Good evening. What's your name, please, and where are you calling from?
John Best.
John Best. Oh, great to have you, John Best. Please go on, John.
Oh, John Best, I just saw your tweet now on Twitter.
Yeah, John.
The lockdown is really been big deal. Really been a big deal. Yeah. And now I got somebody complaining about these pharmacies who got arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Pharmacy shop attendant who got arrested or who got kind of taken away to the station. Mm-hmm. On getting there, they have to let the lady or the person, whoever, sit on the floor just like that, And then until the owner of the pharmacy shop came to bill the person with some money, and yet the pharmacy shop was even locked. Meanwhile, we've been told that she told me, I'm talking about, I won't mention, let me mention, ACPN.
Who?
That is the ACPN. That's the Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria, Rivers State Chapter.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. He's the chairman of the association. Mm-hmm. She actually told me that. Meanwhile, they've gotten permit from the Ministry of Health.
Which of the Ministry of Health? Federal or state?
I think it's
Federal
the state. I think it's the state.
State.
Okay.
Yeah. So, getting permit from the Ministry of Health, is that not enough to allow these people to do their thing? Happens when people fall sick, or sick of malaria, for instance, sick of any kind of sickness or disease, happen to get any disease aside the COVID-19 we are fighting. How do they assess the drugs? Even the people that are being quarantined, are taken to the hospital, and all that. How do they get those drugs that are being prescribed to them? Mm-hmm. How do they assess them? Mm-hmm. People that are already in the hospital, how do they assess drugs that are being? Because the hospitals are not to. I don't think they are to give drugs now. I think they prescribe drugs into to take to pharmacies. So if these pharmacy shops are closed, what happens? How do they get the drug, cure other sicknesses and all that? In this case, I'm asking, are we really fighting against COVID-19 or a particular sickness or a particular disease at the expense of others? Is it really supposed to be? Are we fighting COVID-19 at the expense of malaria? Are we fighting COVID-19 at the expense of Lassa fever and all of that? What's that?
Okay. John, I totally agree with John.
That the government gets to hear our cry. I really hope that the government gets to get all the messages that are being sent, like Maryann has been saying, talking about advocating on social media and all that. Well, if she's talking of celebrities and all that, it doesn't mean that it is only celebrities that are to be heard. And what about the common masses?
Okay.
Is it that the
John, please, I want to
allow
Maryann to answer that question, please. Just hold on.
Yes.
I'm sorry, John. I don't think you got the context.
Hold on, John. Hold on.
Can he hear me?
John, hold on. Maryann is responding to you. Maryann, please go on.
Okay.
Okay, John. I don't think you understood the context I was coming from. I said some people felt this and were on social media talking about it, and celebrities too. So it wasn't just the celebrities it wasn't just the celebrities that got the message across. I tell you what, everybody was tweeting at Governor Sanwo-Olu. Everybody was tweeting. I remember that tweet was trending. Everybody was on social media because even those of us who live in the part of Lagos, we did not have light. It was a bad thing. We cooked and put in our refrigerators and there was no light for days. So it affected everybody. So I don't think it's just, why should we even wait for celebrities? Celebrities might have generators and they might have enough diesel in it to run it. We don't. So every single person needs to get out there, call on the radio. Even if we have to sound like a broken record every day on the shows, every show, we don't have light. We need food. We need markets. Sometimes governments learn or pick up from some of the complaints that we put out there and help to better our lot. So let's not keep quiet about it or wait for Kofi or Maryann to talk about it.
Okay. John, what do you say to that? John Best, what do you say to that, please?
I'm beginning to get her if she says that, but it's just that it's very difficult for our government to listen and hear the common man out there on the street and all that. They come to their rescue. But because just take for instance, the post you made. I'm talking about Kofi now. The post you made via your Twitter handle. See, you were already getting reactions, the reaction I actually saw. One of the reactions I saw was that of the kind of person I feel was maybe a government sycophant or a government person who is trying to make us feel that the government is quite saintly and all that. So in all what we are doing, we are not trying to play down on the government. We are not trying to say that the government is not trying, but we are trying to say that the government should do what they are supposed to do and all that. Okay. Personally, I was walking on the road today. We're going to work. I didn't see. I was not harassed in a way. Yes, I wasn't harassed. Yes, but we've seen people who are being denied their rights and all that.
So, John, if you want to go to work tomorrow, because Brian John works with the NTA, do you have the government's permit, the one from Government House?
No, not from the government's house. I have that of the NTA. I got my own permit from my organization, NTA.
From NTA?
Yes.
Okay, so as far as River State is concerned, that permit is invalid. That is what it means. That is what it means. Maryann, don't you think so?
I didn't get that, please.
As far as River State, this Apitakwa, is concerned, that permit from your federal agency or body, Nigeria Television Authority, is invalid. As long as it's not coming from Government House. Sorry.
Oh, Lord, my goodness. Well, I'm yet to get that reaction from them because I passed through, though it's only one point that I got stopped. And getting to that point, I wasn't denied on seeing that I was allowed, passage and all that. So,
and that's how it should be. I don't think it should be any different.
Just hear us out and hear the cry and see
okay.
to that.
Okay.
That is.
Okay. John Best, I want to thank you very much for your time, for calling us in today. Really, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, Maryann, what do you think about it?
Yeah,
of things, but NTA permits no go work for this particular.
No, he's telling you that he did, because I don't see anywhere
that was yesterday or today or something.
I don't think that they should stop media. I mean, who's going to report the governor's news? Who's going to tell you're giving an update on the lockdown. Who's going to, it's even senseless. It's the height of stupidity to even shut down media men, news people. They're the most essential of essential. If you have information from the doctors, if you have information from security, you have information from the governor, who's going to broadcast it? The Marines. So you have to have the media go about doing their business. They have reports to cover. They have news to gather. It is their duty. They even follow you, the governor, around. So come on. That is the height of insensitivity. I don't want to believe that Governor Wike will be that ignorant of the media. Yeah.
Okay. Let's just read the final few messages, and then we will call it a day. Godsul Inam says, good evening, Kofi and Maryann. ... I want a strong one to believe that this total lockdown is to reduce the spread of the virus, and as well trace those that will show signs of the symptoms within the incubation period, so measures can be taken to trace and secure lives. That's a very important point he's made. Remember, I was asking you this on WhatsApp if there was any tracing, because I think in Ghana, when they declared the lockdown, they started going from house to house or compound to compound to do some testing. That's
the thing that we are yet to. That's why I have a problem with the easing of this lockdown. That's a different kettle of fish on its own. Mm-hmm. But you see, the testing has to be done. I spoke to an epidemiologist in River State that works with UPTH, and I was asking, are you testing? Do you have to test kids? And he says no. And I said, so how do you determine who has the virus and who doesn't? Well, how do you get these numbers that you're churning out? So some things are amiss. Unfortunately, you cannot just declare a lockdown and there are no testings done. How you could see? I have a problem with this COVID-19 situation in Nigeria at large, and I will talk about this another time. But these are some of the issues I have with how we're handling it in the country.
Okay. So I totally agree with you, and I think that they should not just declare lockdown. What is the strategy? Are they going to now go from house to house to test? Because the lockdown should also come with something, and I think it would be a good one if we can hear from the government of River State that they're going from house to house to test as part of this lockdown, so they don't waste the lockdown opportunity. Because the people who have it, when the lockdown is over, will still come out and infect the rest.
Exactly.
But
I remember the epidemiologist also said that one of the reasons why they're not testing is because you just don't get the testing kits. The NCDC has to give it to the state government, that now give it to the hospitals where they can do the testing. So the government can't just go and buy test kits. There's a due process to it. So again, maybe the many bureaucracies and the bottlenecks in the Nigerian system is part of the problem that we're having with testing.
Interesting. Okay, God, so you've given us some things to talk about. He says, but on the other hand, I think flexible measures should be put in place by the governor to give people preference to health care, just like the family that lost their baby. Okay, thank you very much. Ugochukwu Ogola, good evening to you. Herbert M.G. Pepple says, so the governor took defaulters to the isolation center. This shows the administration does not even understand the rules of engagement. I think Dr. Briggs talked about it as well. They took them to the isolation center where people are being isolated, people potentially with coronavirus. That's where they took them. And he says, shows the governor doesn't understand the rules of engagement. There's so much amiss here. Herbert, thank you very much. Acho Modu says, Acho is a very long one. I think we've read your message already. It says, Governor Wike is complaining about the Deputy Commissioner of Police operation that he's sabotaging his efforts during the lockdown. If that is true, I want to appeal to all who are working to contain the spread of COVID-19 to work in concert. All right, I totally agree with you. They need to work with the governor of River State, so that they can secure River State, because I think that is what the governor wants to do. Okay, but he says we can't have two governors at the time. Well, in theory, that is true, but in practice, there could be a situation where two governors can operate at a time. I refer to the days of Joseph Mbu during the Amechi days. The governor, then minister, hailed CP Mbu. Okay, Achomodu, trying to take us back in time. I remember the days of the entry into the Adoke Emesemaka Stadium for campaign. When the River State government said you can't go there for campaign.
Well, we didn't have a virus. Now we're talking about lives, real.
No, he's just trying to say that in times
not
past,
a political drama.
We've had situation of almost two powers in one state. The governor went there with some military guys went to open.
And that's what I'm saying. We need to drop the pettiness. This is not the time.
Yeah, you're right, Maryann.
Not the time
yeah,
for all
but that's his point. I'm just reading it. But your point is also very important.
My point is to everyone, all concerned. The pettiness needs to be dropped at the door. The political lines and the ethnic lines, drop it. It's not going to save lives.
Imahari says all the governor is doing is for the best, or is in the interest of all of us. Criticizing every government policy in River State is not helping things the way they are. I agree that freedom of speech and criticism of bad government policies, good ones like this COVID-19 fight, should be commended. My humble opinion. Thank you very much, Imahari. Okay, we need to support the government of River State. Amakri Danagogo says, I was disappointed when I heard the governor say he will personally issue movement permits. Too sad if of the governor in a society like ours. Okay. Eddie Wanko says, Maryann and Dr. Briggs are contradicting themselves. In one breath, they say the DCP was unpardonably wrong without knowing who and why the permit was given. You can put that up if it's hot. Okay. In one breath, they say the DCP was unpardonably wrong without knowing why or who and why the permit was given. And on the other hand, the policemen were wrong for insisting the woman or refusing. Okay, for insisting the woman go get the governor's permit before moving. Okay, that's one for you and BA Briggs, Doctor. AB George.
It doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. That doesn't make sense.
AB George Apangolo says the lockdown is necessary, although the security agency should put on a human face. Makri Danagogo says it's sad at the time the government will use to do mass testing of citizens for COVID-19 is when they're locking down the state. Vince Emeka says the network is disappointing, as I'm sorry about that, my brother. But if you want to sponsor me to buy some airtime, feel free to send. We'll get it better. We'll get it better. I need to start a Patreon account so you all can sponsor.
GoFundMe.
Something like that. AB Pine, so I can also get married as well. GoFundMe for me. AB George Apangolo says, Maryann Okon, I miss you here in Port Harcourt, my friend. On my timeline. Maryann, one of your fans right there. Okay, we are done. I think, last one. Now's about Dundu says this lockdown feels more like punishment than good being done by the residents, or being done.
Oh dear, he's already feeling the pinch. Yeah. Oh dear.
There is an arrogance and force which the lockdown is being implemented that is disturbing. There has to be a time you need to make alternatives. You need to inform people so that obedience is willing rather than coerced. Okay, thank you very much. We have to go. I want to thank all of you for your messages. Quite interesting, but we're out of time. This has been almost 1 hour, 30 minutes with Maryann Okon. Maryann, final words from you before we go. What would you say about the situation in summary?
For those who are listening, those who are watching, this is not a joke. This is not even a drill. This is the deal. There is a virus that is walking outside your homes. It's everywhere, even in the market, even maybe right outside your corner. But we need to do what the NCDC is saying. We need to do what the government is saying. Wash your hands, stay safe. Please don't say Wike is trying to do something, or APC or PDP. Please, this is not the time. Let's put aside all those things and care for one another. And caring for one another is stay in your house. Don't go anywhere if you don't have to. And if you must go out of your house, please dress like you're going to space. Avoid anything that, and if you have somebody who's elderly in your house and has an underlying illness, please reduce how many times you go out. It's very, very unsafe and unhealthy for them, even for the kids. We used to say it doesn't kill babies, it doesn't kill young people. It's no respect of persons. Let us not stop telling government what we need them to do for us because it is our job to tell them what will be good for us. We put them there to do the job, whether they read their way in there or we voted them in there, they work for us. So don't say they don't listen to us. They must. Sound like a broken record, keep insisting. One day they'll be tired and say, I beg, give these people what they want. But don't stop putting it out there.
So they should keep insisting. And all I can say in addition to what you're saying is now we've seen that, decisions that are taken out of anger without pausing to think and reflect and strategize, because you think about ABC, what are the possible outcomes? See what it has landed in. Someone is saying you can't move without government permits. That's what you said. And now when people are doing it, they're saying, oh, but they should have used their head now. But, in issuing that directive, because, of course, people don't want to flout it. They are afraid. The policemen, they don't want to flout it. Please, that thing is making noise. In issuing that directive, you should have said, but these are the options, A, B, C, D, E. A, B, C, D, E. People who are in lockdown can't go and be getting permits. It's just common sense. People who are in lockdown cannot be going to... Well, where would they pass to go and get the permit from? Where? So the governor of River State...
So we need more thinkers than talkers.
Yeah, absolutely. You've said it all, Maryann. Maryann Okon, that's a great way to end this conversation. We need more thinkers and talkers. It's been a thrill always having you. You're looking so posh. You're popping.
Kofi, please. My gas money is working.
Coronavirus lockdown is good for some people. It's all good. Anyway, thank you very much for your time, Maryann. It's been great.
The love of Jesus is shining all over me. Thank you. God bless you. Stay blessed.
All right. My name is Kofi Bartels. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for your comments. All of you. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, Friday, for the final edition this week. Yesterday was my birthday, so I didn't come online. And, of course, the pre...
And you didn't give us cake.
We'll do Zoom party. I will show you the cake. And then the
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and the pre-lockdown, rush meant people would have to go buy stuff and all that. So, Maryann, thank you very much for your time. In regards to everyone there.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks to all of you. My name is Kofi Bartels. Good night.